Hey, Katie.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, I have a quick yay or nay for you. Redirecting your users to a custom admin page on plugin activation. Yay or nay?
I'm going to say yay. What about you?
I'm also pretty much totally yay territory as well. So this came up on Twitter. I'm going to share my screen from a guy at Modern Tribe named Tanner Record. He says, "Hey WordPress product owners, do you redirect users to a custom admin page on activation? Why or why not?" And first to comment is Katie Keith herself.
Oh, of course.
Um, why did you say what you said?
Well, we didn't have this for ages, and we felt and received feedback that customers were getting lost. They would install our plugin, they would activate it, and then nothing. So at this point, they're still on the main plugins page in the admin. So if they scroll down to the plugin they just activated, they would see a link to the settings page. But why would they do that? They may not know. They've just installed a plugin. We figured that surely they need some kind of signpost. And particularly with us doing mainly WooCommerce plugins, that our settings are very intentionally hidden away and incorporated naturally into the WooCommerce setting pages. So it might be like WooCommerce settings, products, product table.
Oh yeah.
They're not going to naturally find that. We're not going to have like a big section on the left, like Give WP, for example, which is an ecosystem in its own right.
Yeah.
And so for what we do, we felt they needed a signpost. So we created setup wizards, which would open on the first activation only, not everyone. That would really annoy people. And they can exit it if they want, but I think it's helpful to guide people through. And then on the final screen, signpost them to helpful pages to go to next.
I like that. I like that. There's different reasons to do it for sure. I like how Tanner's saying yes, an exit button is crucial. Some people really need the onboarding, others like really don't. So giving them those options is great. My partner in crime, Devin, also chimed in saying he doesn't commit. Yay or nay, Devin? Come on. He says depending on the size and complexity of the plugin, for sure. And he Tanner shouts out this great. Resource here. This is a great site that has a whole bunch of onboarding wizards that they walk through. Um, and it's just his commentary on how they do in terms of onboarding. And it's like a gray and white screenshot, but then with his commentary all like fun and animated and stuff. Well, not animated, but colorful. And he had a problem, goes through it. This is a really fun resource, I thought. So great one to shout out there. But Devin follows up. Looks like the person who did onboard WP, which is Joshua Wald, excuse me, uh, is a fan of the onboarding wizards for sure. So he's saying like here, this normal standard plugin activated notification is kind of a fail. Um, is that kind of your take too, Katie?
Yeah, because that's what we used to do, and they had to find their own way, which isn't helpful.
Absolutely. Um, Jack Kittering is at LearnDash, and he says, yes, do it. But there is a caveat. When somebody actually uses the bulk actions tool to select a whole bunch of plugins at the same time and activate them all at the same time, that often will skip the onboarding wizard. If you're one of those plugins that has one, but it's the bulk action method, then your wizard might not get triggered in that circumstance. So
Yeah, we double checked that. Someone said that on Twitter a few months ago, and I checked with my developers who confirmed that because we have to accept people are activating our plugins in all different contexts, and often it is bulk and troubleshooting. They're not necessarily installing for the first time and learning.
yeah, yep. Derek Ashwar from Sun Photocart, he says that he does it because it's a massive platform, and that's what I hear a lot of people say is like for these large ecosystem type plugins, it's definitely really best practice. I like that your use case is different than that. You're not activating a large platform like WooCommerce or whatnot, but you're saying they still need it because otherwise, how are they going to find our settings at all? I think that's also a really good shout out there.
Yeah, if they're configuration. Even if they're just adding a tiny feature to their site, they need to configure it to get it working, and that needs to be easy, whether it's going to take an hour or 2 minutes.
Yep, absolutely. A couple other comments. Xavier here says, "Welcome wizard to set up required stuff and preferences." Yes. Corey Moss, we've had on the show before. He says yes to give them direction. Otherwise, they'll likely get lost in the 101 menu items. That's a good one. I think so too. I'm going to skip through a little bit because there was one nay in here. This is a little bit of a caveat. Matt Cohen says plugins should use smart defaults to turn the required setup into optional configuration. That's some good nuance there. What's your take on that one?
Yes, we do that to an extent. All of our plugins that are premium require the license key. So at the very
Hmm.
least, nothing's going to happen until you activate that. So you do need a wizard to activate that. But like
Hmm.
with WooCommerce private store, for example, so long as you activate the license key, your store is going to be private, even if you don't choose to configure who can access it and so on.
Yeah. There was actually an right here.
Yeah.
No, because that's not what they expect. They're not expecting to have a wizard when they hit activate. What's your take on that?
I think it's about getting a balance. They expect to need to know what to do next, and
Yeah.
we don't, which can be interpreted in different ways. Currently, our wizards take you out of the admin, and we're aware we need to change that. Or rather, they're like a whole screen thing, and you can click exit, but you can't see the rest of the admin. And we're planning to change that next year so that you can see the context, because I think that will help with this problem.
Yeah, I really like what you said there about how they are expecting to know what to do next, and I think that's a lot of what this onboarding onboard WP.io was pointing out. It's like when you just see this default message plugin activated, it really leaves a lot to be desired because when you do have a regularly kind of straightforward plugin that's not a large one, but you do need to give some sort of direction. There are those WP pointers that are built into core that you could use as a little walkthrough in one way or another. There's also really lots of ways that you can customize this plugin activation banner itself, so that you're not doing a full walkthrough, but at least giving some links in the admin area to point them to the next place where they can go, or even opt into your marketing list. All kinds of things. I actually have a really old tutorial on how to optimize that banner right there. I'll have to go and find that some other time. But I agree. They've got to know something here. So even though the nay is don't do a giant wizard, you still got to do something because this is just lackluster. So
Yeah, the pointers are a good point. A lot of people don't know about them. I tweeted recently that we'd added them to one of our admin demos, and loads of people were really impressed, saying, "Oh, where did you get this library?" And it's part of core, but people don't know about it, and we didn't until recently. So that is an interesting alternative to redirecting people. You simply show a little box saying, pointing to the settings page or something, which again has a skip option so they can close it immediately. Because don't you just hate being forced through like 10 talk pointers and you
yeah,
already knew it?
yeah. Or you're going through pointers and you have no idea how many they're going to be. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, why do I keep like? How long is this going to take? Cool. Well, this was a fun little exercise. Yay or nay? We might do this a bit more. So, any other last thoughts on this one?
Um, I don't think you've explicitly given the reason for your yay. You've just gone through other people's.
That's right. Well, I mean, I would amplify the things that you have said. Honestly, I agree with all of that. In general, that first default message is just uninformative. It's nice to know that something was successful and not a failure, but I need to know what to do next. So, doing at least that middle ground of making that activation banner better is a good step. But with GiveWP in particular, we are on that onboarding WP.io site, and he gives some good feedback on our onboarding wizard actually. And we spent a ton of time really thinking through that because there's a lot of different ways you can optimize the setup for GiveWP, whether you're an organization or an individual. or if you're a fundraising professional, and we give you these different options that are a lot more visual and not just like check boxes or select boxes and things like that, that really are more about navigating you through what 80% of users are going to need to do no matter what. There's definitely, after that initial setup, there's still like 15-20% of stuff that you can dial in even deeper and do even more. But it's kind of like the fastest way to get up and running as quickly as possible. So I think that those onboarding wizards can be extremely beneficial for users when done well, and with the user in mind, not only your business objectives in mind. Because I've seen the negative side as well, where folks have used them only for marketing opt-ins, or you activated my plugin, they'll tell me everything about you, and things like that. But having the user first in mind, I think, is the first big step.
Yeah.
Nice, cool. Thanks everybody. Enjoy.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.